Hey guys, we're about to shine on today. We'll be looking at Rocket Lab's Q2 2026 earnings. We're going to have a little bit of a breakdown and see what's gone on, see what Rocket Lab have just announced. And if you're following Rocket Lab, this quarter was absolutely a watershed moment. We're seeing a complete operational transformation, record revenue, explosive expansion, and of course, some good acquisitions, in my opinion, and especially major progress on flight hardware for the medium-lived Neutron rockets. So we're going to spend the next part of this PowerPoint checking on what Rocket Lab are doing. I'm an investor myself, so I'm quite intrigued to see what's going on. And of course, do your own research because I'm not a financial investor and advisor. So, of course, you could lose money, and don't jump on investments just because I'm saying they're good. I'm trying to be transparent as much as possible. All I do on these videos is what I learn. And of course, Rocket Lab is one of my portfolio additions. So, of course, I am going to cover it because I want to see if the stock is doing well. And hopefully it is, because I do think Rocket Lab has a bright future. So, as you can see here, Rocket Lab. So it is at $80 of trading. The earnings have just been announced. So of course it is going to go up and down. At the minute it's minus 3.37%. But year to date is actually up by 13.32%. So it is based, well, I say United States, it's actually in New Zealand, but on the stock exchange, it's United States. It's industrial. It's got a market cap of roughly 47.88 billion, according to TradingView, which I believe might be a little bit wrong, but I'm not sure. It IPO'd in 2020, got no dividend, and of course, Peter Beck is the founder and CEO, which is a lovely gentleman. I like to always watch his, what they call it, him getting spoken to, interviews, and he seems like an honest guy. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and he's not rushing it, which is a good thing. And compared to SpaceX, yeah, Elon Musk has really good ideas, and I'm not going to slate SpaceX. I think they're also a wonderful company. Space is a dangerous thing, but I just feel that with Rocket Lab, with not any failures, and the way they actually deal with it, I think just shows it comes from the top all the way down to the bottom. So it's quite good indeed. Of course, they have a few business segments. So, of course, they have launch services, which operates dedicated and rideshare orbital launches using Electron suborbital hypersonic test launches with haste, and the upcoming, hopefully, reusable Neutron vehicle. And if that all goes well, we should hopefully be seeing up by the end of the year, I believe. And of course, they have the space systems, which covers spacecraft engineering, solar panel solutions, reaction wheels, star trackers, flight software, satellite bus manufacturing, and on-orbit operations. So it's not doing too badly, this stock. The company's expanded in multiple segments. It's not just a launch service company. It is multiple things, which I love when a company diversifies itself. And this is why I do love Rocket Lab. Now, of course, before we go on, if you do want to get some free shares and you're wanting to add Rocket Lab yourself and you haven't even started investing, there is a link down in the description. You can start today on Robinhood for free. So when you do sign up, I do get a little bit of a gift back, but you do get a free stock up to worth $100 once you do invest. So it's always worth having a little bit of a bonus when you do so. But at the minute, there's a link down in the description for Robinhood for you to go and check out today. All right, let's get on to it. So, slide 4, as you can see here, is our quarter overview. Now, there's a lot of things to have a look about. So, as you can see, there's a lot going on with Rocket Lab, and there's some major things that have gone on, which, as you can see in front of us. So we have got the $234 million record revenue. So Q2 revenue expanded by 62% year over year. So that's up nearly $90 million compared to Q2 2025. And it set an all-time quarterly record, which is good. The company's expanding its revenue, which you want to see. You want the revenue to be going up. Now, of course, 581 million is in space system contracts. So that is booked across Q2 and post-quarter, reinforcing huge demand for satellite platforms and hardware components. So it's not just going up and up with revenue, so it's not like getting the record revenue, it's also getting more that is booked in, which is going to expand the revenue in the future. So a lot of other companies having a lot of confidence with Rocket Lab because they're booking in their launch with Rocket Lab, which is what to see. Because with that, 437 million is in launch contracts. That's booked across Electron, Haste, and forward commitments for Neutron. They also have 2.36 billion in a record backlog. The backlog has now reached 2.36 billion, up 137 year on year. So if you include bookings secured immediately post-quarter, they've signed up over $1 billion in total contracts in Q3 to date, which is quite good because they're also doing a little bit of a transformation in acquisitions. And with that, they've unlocked a new capability. We're going to get further onto that, but briefly, they're aggressively scaling their total addressable market, or TAM, by vertically integrating laser comms, which is by Mananic, space robots by Motive, and constellation operatives and operations. And with that, they have got Iridium, I think it's Iridium, into their acquisition. But we'll get onto that. So as you can see, it's acquired Iridium. Now, Iridium is quite big for Rocket Lab because, like others, you're going to be fighting now against SpaceX. You've got like others like AST, I believe. So there's a few other companies that you're going to be fighting with. And if you just stand still and be comfortable with your little bubble, then, you could have a chance to be overtaken. But up to now, the space sector was divided into 3 distinct buckets. You had the launch providers, satellite manufacturers, and the space applications, continent shore operations, and operators. So it includes like owning networks that sell the bandwidth or data directly to end users. Now, by acquiring Iridium, Rocket Lab combines low-cost launch capabilities, satellite manufacturing scale with Iridium's global LEO satellite network, and spectrum allocations. This turns Rocket Lab into a self-launching Tier 1 space power that controls the rocket, the satellite, and the revenue-generating telecom constellation, delivering connectivity to commercial and government users globally. So, they're not just launching the satellite in space, they're getting the revenue as well from launching that and getting it to the customer, which is very nice indeed, and which hopefully help their margins and the revenue in the long term. Now, as you can see, we have now the key financial highlights, which is a review of the revenue and growth margins. So like we said, we had 234 million in revenue, which is 62% year on year. Now, of course, Space Systems did generate 189.5 million, which was up from 105. Now, of course, driven by satellite production for Space Development Agency, Merck Additions Launch Systems brought in 44.6 million, which went too bad indeed. And of course, the non-GAAP gross margins have reached 41.5%, beating the guidance of 38 and 40%, which is not too bad. That's something you like to see. Of course, year-on-year over growth, major expansion, improving the margins, was driven by higher average selling prices and fixed cost absorption on the Electron launches, which is really good to see. Now, of course, a review on the operating expenses. As you can see, the GAAP and non-GAAP expense increased significantly, primarily due to integration of the acquisition, but they also integration was paired with the continued investment with the Neutron program. Of course, with the free cash flow. So it's good to see that GAAP EPS came a little bit lower in at 0.08 per share. Now, of course, that's a net loss of 49.3 million. Now, in Q1 2026, it was 0.07, but I'm not really complaining too much on that. So Wall Street did expect a 0.06, creating a slight earnings miss due to this. So they were expecting a little bit more improvement, but I'm not really too fussed on that as such, because the balance sheet liquidity stands at 2.4 billion in cash, cash equivalents, marketable securities, and restricted cash. Now, of course, the cash burn, free cash flow was 101.1 million in the negative. Now, with operating cash burn at 84.1, this is due to inventory scaling for Neutron and satellite builds, but capex was held at 26 million, which is, to be fair, very controlled spending. Now, it did improve its EBITDA with a loss of minus 8.8 million, which beat the guided loss of 20 million to 26 million. So, it wasn't too bad, it improved. But as we all mentioned, it was the backlog that got quite interesting for us. The record demand that is coming with Rocket Lab. So, of course, the Victus Hayes mission success. So, under the US Space Force Tactical Response Space Program, Electron, which was from Rocket Lab, launched on a rocket record of 16 hours and 42-minute notice. The spacecraft commission was completed 34 hours early, and target imagery was captured 25 hours ahead of USSF requirements. And with that, the record demand came. Signed 437 million plus in new launch contracts during the Q2 and post-quarter, representing 26 new launches. With that, that's a total launch backlog sits over 90 missions across the Electron, HASTE, and Neutron missions. And as we keep saying about Neutron, Neutron is in good development progress. As you can see, the engine has completed over 400 engine hot fire tests. Stage 1 primary structure is shifted to automated carbon fiber placement. The tank domes and barrel sections are in the final assembly, targeting arrival at Launch Complex 3 in Virginia in Q4 2026. Also, Stage 2 and thrust module, avionics, fluid lines, and manifold integrations are undergoing the final checkout before shipment to LC3 for combined static fire testing. So for me, Neutron is on pace for what I kind of expected for a last end of year, hopefully to see how it goes. So I'm not too fussed about how Neutron development is going. And so we get on to the last little bit, which is the guidance and the outlook. So QV revenue, the guidance is set for Q3 is for $250 million to $265 million. The GAAP gross margin is expected at 29 to 31%. Non-GAAP is expected at 35 to 37%, with, hopefully in a good range that we can get there. Non-GAAP OPX is modeled between 121 to 127 million, and adjusted EBIT loss expected between 17 to 23 million, which isn't too bad. I can see Rocket Lab achieving these goals and even possibly beating them. I would like to see that they can probably beat the revenue a bit more than they're expected. Would be nice, but as long as it's going controlled and there's not really much of a worry for me, then, I'm quite happy with how Rocket Lab are doing, especially in the Q2 and hopefully in the Q3 outlook they can achieve what they are saying they can. So basically that is Rocket Lab delivering a 62% year-over-year revenue growth, expanding its total backlog to 2.36 billion and holds 2.4 billion in cash, and expanding its space applications in Iridium. Now hopefully you did enjoy this earnings breakdown, and if you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I am trying to get as many subscribers as I can before Christmas. I'm hoping to at least get 500. That is just my goal. If we don't hit it, it's fine. It's free to do so. And I don't want you guys to miss out on the future content that I make, because hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Now, if you did, then that is great. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.